All right, America, I'm glad to have my brothers Ray, Caesar, Leo, and Tim G. Jacob here with me for further comments, further reactions to Nick Saban and his comments in regards to NIL and him going at Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M and coming for Jackson State and Deion Sanders. All right, so y'all already heard how I feel about it. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to my brother Ray Caesar Leo and try to further get my blood pressure down. Caesar,
I don't know if I'm gonna do that part. And listen, America, I may repeat a lot of things my brother has said, so y'all bear with me. But understand that it's worth repeating if you hear it twice because it just lets you know that it's a real thing. First and foremost, Nick Saban is a liar. Once you start off with that basis, everything else it may not come easier to understand, but it just gives you a good baseline of where we're coming from. He's a liar. He's a narcissist, and he's just a liar. That's just the long and short of it. All right. Uh, Nick Saban, when it was at LSU, told his boss, his coaching staff, his players, his boosters, his fans, anybody who would listen, not leaving LSU for the NFL. We know how that ended. Now, one would say he has a right to go where he wants to go. That's true. If I quit my job today, or if I get fired today, I get to go wherever I want, right? Like, so respect. Got to the NFL, didn't pan out. Not going to Alabama. I don't know why y'all keep asking me that. I would never go to Alabama. Ended up at Alabama. All right. Again, you can go wherever you want to go. My point that I'm making is you don't have to lie about it because you are entitled as a grown man to go wherever you want to go. So you don't have to lie about it. You can say, I'm keeping my options open. I don't want to talk about that, whatever it may be. Okay. So for us to sit here and act like Nick Saban is just this stand-up guy, this man of high character and integrity, it's just not the case. It's not the case. I've watched this man in a press conferences belittle people because they don't agree with him. That's his makeup, right? I've seen that in real time with my own eyes when I worked in the business. That's what he does. Okay. Um, Nick Saban is also very forgetful. I don't know if it's just because he's starting to get a little long in the tooth or just his narcissism is to the point to where he is forgetting that guys like Jimbo Fisher literally used to work for him. So they know where the bodies are buried. So you don't come and throw guys under the bus when they know how you operate. Jimbo Fisher, in his heart of hearts, if you could get him in a room, he'd tell you, I learned the game from Nick Saban. And when you learn the game, you don't just learn the recruiting trail. You don't just learn the X's and O's and game day preparation. You learn how to secure the bag. That's a part of the culture. This is before NIL, by the way. This is before all of these things became, the right way to do it. When it was the wrong way to do it. Now, I'm not just gonna pick on Nick Saban. Yes, this section is all about Nick Saban. But Nick Saban is the poster child of what's really wrong. They're all acting like they're holier than thou and like that this has never happened. So from Jimbo to Nick Saban to any school in the SEC and outside of the SEC, this has been going on. Y'all remember when Larry Tunsil was drafted? We remember the picture of that offensive lineman with the oxygen mask, doing his thing, what helped him drop, some slots in the first round. Do y'all remember what he said in his press conference after he was drafted? A beat reporter from the Mississippi area asked him about, some transactions and things that were done to get him to Ole Miss. And he admitted to it. Yes, I was paid. I was paid to play at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. That's a player who just left now that he's no longer an Ole Miss Rebel and is now in the NFL telling you how it really goes down. Okay? Before that, Ole Miss was not bringing in top recruiting classes year in and year out. They had the number one offensive lineman, the number one defensive lineman, and the number one receiver coming to their class in the same season.
How you do that?
Just America, I'm just speaking facts right now. I could lie like Nick Saban and just throw stuff up against the wall and hope that it sticks, but I'm just giving you straight facts, things that you can go and Google yourself if you don't believe me. Okay? Here's the other part of it. Coach Prime is a bit of a narcissist too. So we're not just going to act like he doesn't know the game as well. I think it's important for me to say that he's a narcissist and takes this personally in what Nick Saban has said to him, because Coach Prime knows where the bodies are buried too. Why? Because those same type of coaches walked into his house when he was a teenager. Okay, those same type of coaches made sure he was taken care of while he was at Florida State. All these young men who call Coach Prime Unc and that he taught the game along the way, he knows their stories. A lot of those guys played for Nick Saban. A lot of those guys played for Jimbo Fisher. A lot of those guys played at Michigan and USC and all of these places. Riddle me this, man. How is it that young men can come from all over the country? I think Shannon Sharp said this. My brother and I were talking about it. I think Shannon got it from somebody else. How is it that these young men can come from all over the country to a place that they have never been? Couldn't point it out on a map if you paid them to, but all of a sudden they want to leave California, they want to leave Pennsylvania, they want to leave Florida to come to little old Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Why do you think that is? One could say, well, Ray, because they send a lot of players to the NFL every year. That's true. That's facts. That's facts. But why else do you think that's happening? There are a ton of guys that have teams that aren't that great year in and year out that send guys to the NFL. It's because something else is going on under the table. What's happening now is above the table. But let's talk about what was happening before we got to this point. Every person that Nick Saban tried to throw under the bus and the guys that he threw under the bus just, tongue in cheek, he was doing the same thing they were doing. And my only question that I go back to is if people want to use the defense of, oh, well, these young men are going to Alabama because they have a better opportunity to hone their skills under the best coach, the game has ever seen. Okay. Well, then why can't we use that same logic for Travis Hunter and Jackson State? If this young man wants to play DB and go two ways, what better person to learn to do that than the guy who actually did it in the NFL? So you got to miss me with that logic too.
It's and actually did it the best in the NFL.
Did it the best to ever do it. So it would only make sense that Travis Hunter would choose this guy to say, if I want to do it like that and make it to the next level, this is the one guy who can show me better than anybody else. He can teach me, technique, he can teach me culture, he can teach me branding, he can teach me all of this, how to get ready for the next level. He can do it better than Nick Saban in this case. Y'all might disagree, but he can do it better for Travis Hunter than anybody can in the country. Why?
Hey, they say Nick Saban coach DBs or something, right?
Yeah. He's a defensive guy. He's a secondary coach by nature. He's a defensive coordinator, and now he's a head coach. Got it.
He sure can't do it like this.
But he can't do it like that. He can't give this man line by line game. This is how I did it against Jerry Rice. This is how I did it against Michael Irvin. This is how I did it to get into the Hall of Fame. That's different, man. And so that's what I mean by you can't judge this based off only what Nick Saban is saying, because if you do, you're going to miss a lot. I could go on and tell you stories about how I've been, to SEC schools across this country. I could tell you stories that I've heard about what guys have been given before they got to school, when they got to school, after they left school. But that's not important because I would just be picking on a singular school. I'm telling you all the schools did that because that's the way that the world operates. Okay? That's just how it operates. But I will say this. Nick Saban, for as much of a narcissist as he is, and you can't tell him that he's ever wrong, you know what wrong people do when they know they're wrong? They immediately pick up the phone and try to right their wrongs. Try to call people meetings and say, man, that's not what I meant. So shout out to Jimbo, shout out to Prime for not taking that call, because if you're going to do it in front of everybody like that and embarrass us, you're not going to come behind closed doors and try to make it right. No, we're going to make it right. We're going to make it right publicly. We're going to do that together, or we're not going to do it at all. So that's my take on it. Anybody who thinks Nick Saban is a saint, you need to be drug tested or you need to wake up, one or the other.
T, what are your thoughts on the whole ordeal, man, with Nick coming at Jumbo and Prime and them?
Well, first of all, I would like to publicly say that Put It On Some would love to host that meeting between Prime, Saban, and Fisher. We can all just get it. We got the platform for it. Y'all will help us. Y'all would help us immensely.
Right.
People will come to watch. I would like to say that publicly.
Right.
Please make it happen, sirs. Here's what I got. So Ray touched on a lot. Ray can touch on a lot because he's qualified to touch on a lot. Deeper issues. This is what I'll say. Nick Saban just like shifted the whole recruiting culture to the left for the good of HBCUs and such. He just showed a lot of young men, if their mind and their heart's in the right place, he just showed you that basically he's basically telling you you're just a number to him. You're just a number. Because I have a problem with everybody else getting guys like you. And if you come to me, I'm gonna make you what I can make you, but you're just a number. Because easily, if you wreck your knee your freshman year, I got a guy or three behind you that's gonna do far better, right? And you ain't gonna have no access to me now. When you're hurt, you go over here to these trainers and you make sure they get you right. These different group of people over here that I got under me will take care of you. Don't see me until you're healthy 100%, because I got to be concerned with football. I'm said in the I Am Athlete interview, if you haven't seen it, watch it. But he spoke about a young man taking a flight and how basically the young man could pick up the phone, call Prime, because the lady at the airport wanted to basically found out you played for Jackson State, you knew Coach Prime, and the man was like, well, I can call him right now. And Prime talked about how he likes the fact that his kids could come to him just at any point and say, hey, coach, whatever, that's important. And so Nick basically just told a lot of young black men, let's just call it what it is, that are out here, that are talented 5'4", 3s, whatever, talented ball players, or just black HB athletes in general from high school, that Saban just thinks you're a number. He did you a favor. Now, the Fisher thing, that's what I'm gonna put a little take on. Once an assistant, always an assistant. In Nick's eyes, he looked down at Jimbo and goes, you ain't nice. You just not that nice. You got one on me last year. All right, cool. But you're not that nice. But then you saw your assistant get the #1 recruiting class in the country. And now he's threatened by the fact that my assistant just outshined me in recruiting. Well, it's simple. Well, it's simple for Nick because he can just say in his narcissistic way that, hey, they paid for everybody. They bought everybody. But let's look at it. I did a little bit of reading. A&M basically beat y'all to the punch in terms of constructing how this NIL thing is supposed to work. They beat Alabama to the punch. For all that people think about Alabama and how they've been in front for a long time with recruiting, probably because they illegally give the bags and the cars and the Chargers and the Mercedes out, because my man JoJo said Saban's got a Mercedes dealership, so I would imagine the peace signs are around the campus quite often. Fisher, Ross Bjork, who is the AD at Texas A&M, did their work. They constructed, they got people in a room. They understood what you can and can't do. They worked within the laws in Texas, and they figured out how to best present this NIL stuff to these kids. And these kids bought in on top of whatever else Texas A&M offers. And they came by the droves. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They got a plethora. They should have the best front in the country, by the way. Based on what they brought in this class, Alabama should not be able to run the ball on these boys, and Georgia's going to have problems too. And then let me get to Georgia, because it's another little thing about Georgia too. Georgia didn't have #1 class in the country. But see, what I found was Saban had a lot of spoiled milk in his stomach. Between Prime getting great kids, He can't stand that because this is Prime. Even though they was on the Aflac commercial together, everybody want to go, oh man, they was Aflac people. They was all on the Aflac commercial together.
Can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah. I mean, it might replace Prime. Or it might replace Saban. We'll see.
No, they gonna do it. They gonna do it. We're gonna talk about this.
We'll see. They might throw a little slick jab about this whole situation in the commercial just to get you to buy the insurance. But I don't buy Aflac. I don't buy Aflac insurance. Just wanted to put that out. But Saban's got a lot of spoiled milk in his stomach between Prime, getting kids. He couldn't beat neither of his assistants last year, Smart or Fisher. Couldn't get around him. So it's kind of like I'm at the point where, you know, Saban, you starting to show that, look, your wizardry ain't what it is no more. It's done. You're at a point now where you probably are out of your league because really and truly, Alabama offered championships and a chance for you to get to the NFL, and kids are looking for something more now. Kids are looking for something more. They're looking for something better. They're looking for something that is going to give them a sense of pride. And I think a lot more black kids are going to start shifting towards HBCUs or programs that give a crap about them. We just had a young man from Picayune, the 4-star kid, Dowell, I think is his name, or Dowdle, the running back. I don't know if y'all read about him, but he went to Oregon. But Oregon has a really great culture up there, from what I've read. They've got a really great culture. Do they give out the bag? Of course, they have. But I bet you they've got something up there that is appealing. Alabama, they ain't even changed their jerseys in all these years. So let's just be honest. Alabama is Alabama. And I don't think winning is in their future anymore. I think they're done. It's over.
Whoa! Big statement.
Winning's not in their future.
Hold on.
Championships, done. Done.
This man here.
America, I don't know if I take it that far, America.
I'm gonna take it that far. They done.
But man, there you go. All right, okay.
Done.
All right.
I didn't know he would come. He didn't tell us that in the pre-show meeting that he had envisioned that one right there.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I take tea.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap tea.
You can run it back if I'm wrong, but I'm gonna run it back when I'm right.
Georgia getting better. Georgia's had some great recruiting classes. We see Texas A&M with this one right here.
Georgia just put 15. How many boys in the draft? How many boys they put in the draft?
I got 2 of them in Green Bay. That's all I know.
They put a ton of them in there.
2 in the third round.
And Bama can't put that out there no more. Bama can't say we can get you in the first round. We can get you this guaranteed cash. He can't say that now.
Well, see, then with it, as I alluded to in another segment, and as Coach Prime pointed out, y'all know what he was doing. He was talking to them boosters. He was talking to the check writers. He was talking to the bag droppers, trying to light a fire under them and tell them, I need more in the bag.
Yeah. I need more.
That's really what he was doing.
You can't beat oil in Texas.
So he trying to be competitive to you. He see what you talking about. He's seeing that Kirby then pulled in some hellified classes. He see that Jumbo over there done pulled in a class, and he know what Jumbo could do with a class because he know Jumbo won a national championship at Florida State.
Nick say I need more Dodge dealerships.
So is that what he thought? Look, let it just be 100. Thank you.
I need more Chevy dealerships for these Tahoes and Silverados.
Ain't gonna be enough.
I need more. Whatever y'all saying now, I need more.
I need more.
If that's the case, say it in a Alabama private situation.
He thought he was, but see, when you're so full of yourself, you don't realize that a public moment is not private. Like in his brain. Yeah, and I get it.
You're right. Money by saying it privately.
That joke was laid back in that chill tea, and them lead with crowd tea.
The only thing he was missing was some brown. If he'd have been drinking brown, I might would have excused this today because I'd have said he probably drinking some good brown.
He was drinking his stature.
Mark my words, guys. Mark my words, guys. In America too. SEC Media Days will come around in July. It's normally mid-July. I don't remember the dates. But it's a huge deal. Media from all over the country, mainly in the Southeast, media from all over the country, national media will be there. He'll get asked that question, and you'll watch him. He may answer it one time, but he's going to try to take control of the room and say, guys, I'm not talking about this anymore. I've talked about it all off season. I want to focus on my team. I want to focus on what we got to look forward to. You watch. He will try to control the narrative and dead this, because that's what he's always done, and the media has always bowed down to that. Why? Because it's the mighty Nick Saban. I'm not taking anything away from Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the greatest college coach of all time, but Nick Saban also has benefited from coaching at Alabama that has long time had the greatest resources of all time, and he's used those resources in a way where he has not gotten caught. But the problem is now it's not about getting caught. It's about how can you work these NILs to benefit your program. And to Wells' point, he's now realizing that everybody around him is learning how to do this. Oh, and the competition and the coaching has caught up with him as well. So he doesn't have those everyday advantages that he used to. He sees the writings on the wall. He's a smart dude. So he sees the writings on the wall. And that's essentially what he was saying. Only problem is you threw guys under the bus that know how you operate in real life. And that's why you reached out to them quickly. That's why they are not taking your calls right now, because at the end of the day, you're not going to throw me under the bus and act like you don't do the same thing. This is college football, man. Everybody does it.
I lose Nick's number today. He can hit me on Facebook. How about that? If he can work it. If he can work Facebook, hit me on Facebook.
You gonna put him on the block list like you had Coach
Straight
Mike?
up, Maina list. That's where he be.
Hope y'all never had plans on going.
Maina off and put Nick on.
Yep.
Hope y'all never had plans on doing the show live from Bryant-Denny, because we are not going.
That's
We're not going to Bryant-Denny Stadium. I just wrote that on my pad. I'm Xing them off. I had a bunch of places I thought we could go.
They know they've been buying them, paying for them boys. They know they've been paying for these challenges season.
Bryant-Denny Stadium, we are not invited anymore. It's a nice venue too, guys. I was hoping we could go do a show there, but after today,
I need to get my young boy Thomas Snyder. My young boy, I used to call you Roll Tide. You went to Alabama. I need you to come put it on something and tell us about how some of your classmates were pulling up in the challenges outside of the dorm room.
And the old folks say I ain't lost nothing in there.
They know it.
Jimbo, we'll come see you. We'll come see you, Jimbo. We'll come out to College Station, but we are no longer welcome to Tuscaloosa.
Yes, sir. Man. I'll be there. I'll be there. College Station, I'll be there.
We gotta go see the Deontay Wilder statue at least. Yeah.
Well, you won't see the Nick Saban one. I mean, I guess you can. It's outside the stadium. They won't allow us in.
I'm good. Ain't lost nothing in Bryant-Denny.
Well, America, my brothers say we might not be back. Not back. He'll be going back. He's been there to cover games. But I guess I won't be going for the first time. But y'all chime in and tell us what y'all think. Do y'all think that Saban's comments are basically highlighting the end of an era, as my brother Tim G. Jacob said? That's what I'm really wondering what y'all think about that.
Done.
He said, y'all hear him now. He putting it up. I ain't gonna ask him to book it. I ain't gonna do him like they do me. Yeah. How they try to get me to really get on in there and be hoodwinking me. I'm not gonna do that. But y'all hear, do y'all agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com, and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.